I got another cool email from a discovermirrorless.com viewer who's also a shootsmarter.com viewer and is a little confused. Her name is Nicolia something. You know what? I'm not going to use her last name. It's clearly gal, and she's in suburban Boston by the looks of it. I think Framingham, right, is suburban Boston. Well, she says, Will, I've seen lots of stuff, read your stuff, videos. You're the only person that I know that looks like they know what they're doing that says to use JPEG instead of RAW. And all the other places, she mentioned some other spots that are actually very good spots, say shoot everything in RAW. She wants to know why I don't shoot in RAW and why I'm the only one saying to shoot in JPEG instead of RAW. Hey, those are both great questions, and that is a sensitive topic to some people, and I appreciate the fact that she wrote that nicely and sincerely. And if you have a real question you want a real answer to, you know Will Crockett will give you the real answer. I'm not here to try to push you into anything or sell you anything or tell you what to do or what not to do. If you need help with making better pictures and moving into hybrid imaging, I will share with you what I know, and thank heavens I know a lot. Well, this is one of the topics that's kind of one of my regions of expertise, and I am not one of those forum flamer kind of guys that likes to have fights about what you need to do and what you don't need to do, and we're not going to go there with this. But here's what I do know. I do know that for me, the ability to create an image in my mind and then pick up a camera and then put that image that I created onto a photographic file is what I use a camera for, right? I have a really cool idea for a photo or a video or a combination of the two, and then I choose the right camera and I choose the right lens and I choose whatever lighting and whatever other tools I need to do, and then I create that image. We call that creating with intent, meaning I know exactly what I want to create and I set out to do that. I'm very comfortable with all the tools, so that means I can do that as quickly and easily and as efficiently as possible so that I can do other things, right? I can be creative instead of thinking about how I'm going to set the camera. It's frustrating for me when I go to places with other photographers and I see how they struggle with their cameras, and that's a shame. I also see how they really don't understand how to create the best possible image with their cameras until they get onto the computer, and then they're changing things and cropping things and going from color to black and white and adding filters and all that other stuff. My opinion is the creation of your image should be in your mind, and then your camera's going to help you, and the computer's just there to reshape, move it around. If you need to make some sort of fine-tuning things to it, go right ahead. People who create images in Photoshop, it looks to me like they're pictures I would never buy, so very few people do that. Now, that's not being critical. I'm just giving you my opinion. I've discovered that if you use quality cameras and you know how to create a proper exposure and know about white balance and how to set up your camera when it comes to color values and all those other things, you will be surprised at how good a JPEG will pop out when it comes to quality of your camera. So when you see my videos behind me, this is my office, and those are pretty pictures that I've shot all over the place. Every one of those was shot on JPEG. Well, why don't I use RAW? I don't have the benefit of RAW with most things that I do. Now, there are some big commercial jobs, those big factory interior jobs where we have to shoot RAW because we're in unusual lighting situations. We're not quite sure how the camera's going to respond to inside factories with all kinds of different lighting. That's a great RAW opportunity. Also, if we need the file to be really big or super maximum quality, we'll go to RAW. But my opinion is the images I've created, and I create pretty high quality images, I'm all JPEG all day because it allows me to create, capture, take a look at it. Great, move on to the next thing. Now, if you want to add another couple of steps in that and literally expanding that process by maybe 50-60%, you can shoot RAW. And if that makes you feel better, what I kind of discovered is that a lot of photographers who aren't comfortable with their cameras and maybe don't have the right camera for them and don't know how to use wireless TTL flash, they have to shoot in RAW because they don't have the capability of shooting a JPEG that can just fly out of the camera and go to a printer or your lab and look terrific. Now, remember, that's not being critical at all. I'm just a fact. I've seen this. Now, here's where that becomes a problem, and that's why we're getting so much attention on this topic again here too, is I've been a transparency film shooter in my early days, and we didn't have any exposure tolerances there. So we had to hit it right on with color and with exposure, and that's how I was trained. All right, so that means it's very easy for me. The problem comes when we have photographers who can't shoot a JPEG because they don't know how to get their camera to produce a JPEG that doesn't need any corrections. When they start shooting video, they got a big problem. If you're the type of photographer that has your really nice camera, right, and really nice lenses set to RAW and some auto exposure mode and auto color correction, and you're using a really nice RAW converter software and a great workflow, good for you. You know, that's a great system. Hey, as long as it works, right? Well, when you start shooting video and you have a piece of video that's now a stop underexposed or a stop overexposed or the color's way off, there's no way to save that. Once it's beyond a one stop, there's no way to save that. Well, that means that's taking the future away from you. The future is you as a photographer being able to blend photo with video. Well, the faster we can take your idea, run it through a camera, and create that hybrid product, that photo plus video plus audio product, the better off you are. As your friend, I'm telling you, there is no RAW. Well, there is, but it's crazy expensive. There is no RAW for video. So that means if you are tied to shooting RAW, because you don't have the skills to shoot JPEG, you're going to be locked out of shooting video with your camera. Don't do that. You'll be able to move to a smaller, easier, better. That's why we like mirrorless cameras so much. Not that you have to give up your DSLR right now, but you're going to be able to move to a smaller, more intelligent camera that will take care of your exposure problems for you on both photo and video at the same time, right? Think about it. When you're shooting video and you're moving or your subject is moving, it's possible, actually likely, that your light values are going to change. Well, that means it has to compensate for your exposure and or white balance and contrast maybe even on the fly. Well, DSLRs don't do that very well. They don't. Mirrorless cameras do. So mirrorless cameras make it easy, particularly for you photographers that are struggling with your Canon 5D Mark III, Mark II series, your beautiful lenses. You got $4,000, $5,000, $7,000 worth of equipment, and you can't shoot a JPEG. That locks you out of shooting video too. So either learn how to use that camera in a JPEG mode, and if you can, you'll see there's not a whole lot of difference in quality between RAW and JPEG for the majority of things you're going to do. That also allows you to be able to shoot video with that camera, and the video that comes out of that camera is superb, superb. If you still struggle with that, I will just ask you to keep your mind open on dumping that DSLR and go to a mirrorless camera. That's what Discover Mirrorless is all about. We're all pros, for the most part, photographers that are learning video and then how to blend them together. We've also got video pros that are learning photo, which is really interesting. Check out our hybrid hangouts and see those conversations that we have. It's all about that education. So my info about JPEG and RAW is just a suggestion. If you want to shoot RAW, go ahead. If you want to shoot JPEG, great. I choose JPEG. I'm not going to have an argument about it. I've been called out numerous times by numerous knuckleheads that want to get into an argument about why I have to shoot RAW, and they'll give you all kinds of reasons and arguments, but it's not. It's all the fact that it's convenience for me, and I'm able to create beautiful prints, and if you get a chance to see my prints, you'll say, wow, that really was a JPEG straight out of the camera, and go, yeah, it really was. So onward and upward, but keep an open mind, okay? Thanks for your email. That was very cool of you. Bye.